Imagine finding yourself face to face with the most advanced technology of your time, created by the very empire trying to conquer your people. What thoughts would run through your mind? That's exactly what this painting forces us to consider. Look at how the light catches both the warrior's thoughtful expression and the gleaming helmet in his hands. Today, we're going to explore why this quiet moment of contemplation might be one of the most sophisticated commentaries on civilization ever painted. When we encounter Osmar Schindler's masterpiece, we're immediately struck by the powerful juxtaposition of elements that creates an almost palpable tension within the frame. The young Germanic warrior, portrayed with exceptional anatomical precision, sits in a moment of profound contemplation, his muscular form illuminated against the painting's shadowy background. The warrior's physical presence is commanding yet vulnerable. His semi-nude state, rather than diminishing his dignity, enhances it through a classical treatment reminiscent of Greek sculpture. The painting's composition is carefully orchestrated to direct our attention through a visual hierarchy that begins with the warrior's illuminated torso, follows his downward gaze, and ultimately leads us to the Roman helmet, the symbolic heart of the painting. This helmeted centerpiece, with its distinctive red plume, functions as both a literal object and a loaded symbol of Roman military might and cultural sophistication. The technical execution is particularly noteworthy in how it handles different material qualities. The contrast between the soft, living flesh of the warrior and the cold, worked metal of the helmet creates a tactile dialogue that underscores the painting's broader themes about nature versus civilization. The warm tones of the warrior's skin seem to pulse with life, while the helmet gleams with an almost otherworldly precision, its decorative elements speaking to Rome's technological and artistic achievements. This material contrast extends to the warrior's fur or feathered garment, which introduces another textural element that ties him to the natural world, while simultaneously suggesting his own culture's sophisticated understanding of adornment and status symbols. The symbolic richness of this painting operates on multiple levels, each contributing to its complex meditation on civilization, identity, and power. The warrior's physical presentation alone carries several layers of meaning. His idealized muscular form connects him to classical artistic traditions, suggesting that the barbarian subject is worthy of the same dignified treatment as Greek or Roman figures. Yet his pale skin and blonde hair explicitly mark him as Germanic, creating a fascinating tension between classical artistic conventions and ethnic identity. The decorative elements in the painting carry their own symbolic weight. The warrior's turquoise armbands are particularly significant. They demonstrate that Germanic peoples possessed their own sophisticated material culture and aesthetic sensibilities. This detail subtly challenges the Roman narrative of Germanic tribes as culturally primitive, suggesting instead a different kind of civilization with its own values and artistic expressions. The fur or feathered garment similarly operates on multiple symbolic levels, connecting the warrior to nature while also displaying craftsmanship and cultural sophistication in its own right. The Roman helmet, as the painting's central symbol, carries perhaps the heaviest symbolic load. Its presence creates a dialogue between two civilizations, one based on urban organization, technological development, and imperial power, the other rooted in different values and social structures. The warrior's contemplative interaction with the helmet suggests not just military conflict, but a deeper engagement with questions of cultural identity and change. His gentle handling of this enemy artifact suggests respect rather than hatred, curiosity rather than fear, emotions that complicate simple narratives about the relationship between Rome and Germanic peoples. The historical dynamics between Germanic peoples and the Roman Empire provide essential context for understanding this painting's deeper meanings. The relationship between these civilizations spanned centuries, encompassing not just military conflict, but also trade, cultural exchange, and complex diplomatic relations. This wasn't simply a case of civilization versus barbarians. Many Germanic individuals served in Roman armies, some rising to high ranks, while Germanic tribes both fought against and allied with Rome at different times. Schindler's painting captures this nuanced historical reality through its thoughtful portrayal of the warrior's interaction with the Roman helmet. The contemplative nature of the scene suggests the complex process of cultural absorption and resistance that characterized Germanic-Roman relations. The warrior's physical proximity to and careful handling of the helmet mirrors the historical reality of Germanic peoples who both resisted and adapted to Roman influence, ultimately creating hybrid cultural forms that would influence medieval European civilization. The painting's creation during the late 19th, early 20th century adds another layer of historical significance. This was a period when Germany was grappling with questions of national identity and its place in European civilization. The choice to depict this particular historical moment speaks to contemporary German society's efforts to understand its relationship to classical heritage while asserting its own cultural distinctiveness. The warrior's thoughtful examination of the helmet parallels Germany's own contemplation of its classical inheritance. Looking beyond the painting's immediate impact reveals numerous subtle details that enrich its meaning. The warrior's expression, rendered with remarkable psychological depth, shows a complex mixture of emotions that rewards careful study. There's curiosity in the slight forward tilt of his head, perhaps a touch of melancholy in the downturned corners of his mouth, and something like reverence in his careful handling of the helmet. These nuanced emotional cues help create a sophisticated portrayal that transcends stereotypical depictions of barbarian subjects. The treatment of the warrior's hair deserves particular attention. Its golden color obviously marks his Germanic identity, but the way it's painted, with loose, almost impressionistic brushwork, creates a subtle halo effect that dignifies the figure. This technical choice places him within a tradition of heroic portraiture while maintaining his distinct ethnic identity. Similarly, the fur or feathered garment he wears shows sophisticated handling of texture that suggests both primitive wildness and cultured refinement. The decorative details on both the Roman helmet and the Germanic armbands reveal another layer of cultural dialogue. The intricate patterns on the helmet demonstrate Roman technological and artistic sophistication, while the geometric designs on the armbands show that Germanic peoples possessed their own complex artistic traditions. These details create a subtle visual dialogue about different forms of cultural achievement. The painting's emotional and intellectual power derives largely from Schindler's decision to depict a moment of contemplation rather than action. This choice transforms what could have been a simple historical genre piece into a meditation on civilization, identity, and cultural exchange. The quiet intensity of the scene invites viewers to share in the warrior's contemplation, to consider along with him the implications of this encounter between different forms of civilization. The psychological space created by this quiet moment is enhanced by the painting's lighting and composition. The dark background isolates the figure in a timeless space, while the dramatic illumination suggests both physical and metaphorical illumination. The light of understanding, perhaps, or the dawn of new historical consciousness. The warrior's downward gaze creates a sense of interiority that invites viewers to imagine his thoughts, making the painting not just a depiction of a historical moment, but an invitation to psychological and historical reflection. This emphasis on contemplation rather than action also serves to humanize the subject. Rather than showing the Germanic warrior in battle or in some other stereotypically barbaric activity, Schindler presents him as a thinking, feeling individual engaged in a moment of cultural encounter. This choice challenges historical stereotypes while creating a more universal human moment that viewers across time can relate to. You know, looking at this warrior studying the helmet, I can't help but wonder, what artifacts from other cultures have made you stop and think? What's your modern equivalent of this Roman helmet moment? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your own experiences with cultural discoveries that changed your perspective. If you enjoyed diving deep into art history with me today, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and give the bell icon a tap so you won't miss our next exploration of art's hidden meanings. I've got some fascinating pieces lined up that I can't wait to share with you.